Welcome to episode 143 of Outside the Circle, a podcast dedicated to new and upcoming country artists, musicians, and songwriters. Today's guest will be Bowman. We'll get to him in a little bit, but first, I'm Ronnie, and here's Brian.
What's happening, man? How you been? We over here. We are I got Wyatt back on the ice over the weekend. I don't even know if we talked about this yet on the podcast, but I got Wyatt and I think we found his thing, man. I really do. He has so much determination on trying to stand up and skate. He's still on like the walker, right? Um, but man, is he just in love with it, which makes my heart happy, right? The former hockey player in me is enjoying every minute of this.
Good. Yeah, you sent over the videos. Yeah, I mean, it looks like obviously, like you said, he's still using the walker thing, but it looks like he's grasping the concept. It looks like he's focused on getting it done. So yeah, that'd be nice. Get him skating. Next thing, we got to put a stick in his hand, and probably good to put a full guard so he doesn't lick anyone, Brad Marchand style. But yeah, no, that's exciting. I got that video and I was pumped. I was fist pumping all over the house. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's funny, man. Yeah, I mean, for 4 years old, we've gone out 3 times now, and yeah, his feet are going like 1,000 miles an hour. So we only get like really 3 laps in because he's just like that's the end of it, which is fine. I'm very out of shape as far as hockey skating goes. So
Yeah, long, slow strides. We'll get him there. We'll get him there. Yeah, no, I feel like it's been a while. Coming out of the new year, we've kind of been out the gate slow, making sure we're getting back in the swing of things. But um, while you were on the ice, I spent the last weekend in Florida where it was 80 degrees, and yeah, I hated coming back here, but it's starting to. Today was perfect golf weather, but
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But no, it's been good getting the first few episodes of the year, getting our feet wet again. But it looks like we're about ready to start hitting the ground. So hopefully back to weekly. And I think about it all the time. I don't know how you feel about it, and obviously we're just going to talk about this on the podcast and whatever. But I like the idea that we don't rush things out. I think that's I like quality over quantity. I think is my new motto this year. And I think we, and you particularly, do a good job at putting together the best possible product we can put out. So this year it's not about the numbers. We're going to get good artists, good quality podcasts, and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. We could just get some like crappy artists that no one wants to listen to or something, just so that we make a weekly podcast out of it, or we could give you something that actually you're going to listen to and be like, man, I like that artist. And I think we are better off getting more of the I like those kind of artists rather than a filler.
Yeah. That being said, we are booked solid the next couple weeks, months here, so it will be pretty consistent going forward. But yeah, no, we got to speak with Bowman this week, and coming off the heels of Valentine's Day and his new single, and so yeah, I think we should jump to that. Get everybody familiar with Bowman. All right, everyone. We're here today with singer-songwriter Bowman. Welcome to Outside the Circle, Bowman. Thanks for joining us today.
Are we inside of the circle or outside of the circle?
I think right now we might be on the outside looking in, but hopefully we by the end of this we get you on the inside here.
Right on, man. Story of my life.
Yeah. So ironically, story of your life. Let's kind of start there. So give us a little background on music and growing up and how important it was, and kind of what led you to getting involved full time.
Yeah, man. I mean, always been around music ever since I was young. Started in a different genre of music, in pop music. I'm not even going to say the date because I don't want to reveal how old that I actually am. But many moons ago, and always wanted to try my hand in country because I mean, I grew up with country, love country, and was fortunate enough to hook up with my longtime producer Johnny Garcia out of Nashville. He's Garth Brooks' lead guitar player for the last 25 years. Trisha Yearwood's musical director, and just about everything I've done so far has been with him. So, it's been a good collaboration.
So you said longtime friend. So like, did you meet him like just going through like the pop world, or was it
Yeah, man, I
kind of in
was,
that transition?
I'm a businessman, I'm an entrepreneur. I have several different businesses in the construction world. I'm a plumber by trade, third generation plumber.
Right.
So I plumb basically. And I had a business down in Orlando and was dabbling in some country stuff, getting into the studio and just kind of, bouncing around. And a business partner of mine had actually sent something to Johnny. And, I get this call from Johnny Garcia one day, just out of the blue. And he introduces himself, and I'm like, who the hell is this? And he says, look, man, I just really dig your voice. Why don't you come down and, let's make some music and see what happens. So that's what we did. I get off the phone with the guy and I Google him. And there he is front and center with Garth Brooks. So I call him right back. I'm like, dude, you could have told me you were Garth's like right-hand man, He says, well, I don't like to. Uh, so yeah, man, and it's all just been stepping stones from there. I've been very fortunate to um, get my feet wet in Nashville over the last, 10, 15 years, and played all the clubs and at all the places you can imagine, and, the Bluebird, and did all that stuff. And then recently in the last couple of years, I was fortunate to open up for some of these bigger guys, like Jason and people like that. And I always say I'm the guy before the guy. I'm the guy to get out there and get all the juices flowing, get everybody riled up. So, we also have Anthony Kryzan in our band, lead guitar. Anthony was one of the lead guys in Spin Doctors. I don't know if you remember the group Spin Doctors back in the day. So Anthony's a hell of a guitar player, and between him and Johnny, we just get the crowd going, man. It's just a bunch of fun,
No, that's awesome. And the reason why we started this podcast in the beginning was because we were going to shows for the opening acts, right? We loved
Okay.
being those guys cheering on the guys before the guy.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, hopefully at some point I get to be the guy.
Right. Exactly.
We're working hard at it, and we've got some new stuff that's come out that we're real excited about.
No. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm curious. You mentioned being an entrepreneur and having some businesses here and there, and starting in pop, going into country. Whether it's all the way to the beginning, getting into pop, or even in that transition to country, like was there like an aha moment for you that you're like, oh yeah, like, I mean, I know you just told the story about Johnny calling you up and having that conversation, but like, was there like a moment where you're like, oh, you know what, like this is like what I'm gonna do, like?
Yeah. I mean, I got away from music for a very long time. I was in this pop world, had some platinum stuff that was out there way back in the day on the radio and did well. And then when I was in my, I'd say mid-20s, I just kind of had enough of it and got away from it and started my business and met my wife and had 3 kids and got away from music for a long time. And that's a tough thing to do when you're an artist and you've got this burning, in your belly that, you just got to get out there and perform once in a while. So it was tough being away from that for a long time. But the aha moment, I think, was way back when I was still actually on the truck, out there, driving around, and there was a singing contest at a local place here in the Philadelphia area. And they were giving away front row Garth Brooks tickets. Well, I always loved Garth. I always felt like I can, kind of sing his stuff, backwards and forwards, and, even sound like him a little bit. So, I was in my plumbing gear on the truck, and I had pulled into this place. I happened to be passing by, and I went in pretty damn early, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And they said, well, pal, you're just way early. You're like the first on the list. This thing doesn't start till like 8 o'clock at night. So I go back that night and there's a line around the corner. And I'm like the first guy that signed up because I had stopped by there way early in the day. So I get up there and I sing like Thunder Rolls or some damn thing, I forget. And long story short, everybody's in all their country stuff. This is back in like the mid '90s, So I wanted to win in this damn thing, right? I wanted to win in these front row tickets for Garth Brooks. I remember I was so excited. I went home and I told my wife. I don't think we were married at the time. We're still dating. And I said, honey, I won these tickets, these front row tickets for Garth Brooks. And she says, that's great. Who the hell's Garth Brooks? So
It's Garth.
took her to the concert and we had a great time. But, I guess that was one of those aha moments, that I thought, well, I can sing this stuff, I have this theory that people's voices sort of lend themselves to different genres of music, so.
Yeah, that's funny. Actually, I'm a singer and guitar player myself. And I remember I sat in with a rock band and they were like, hey, can you sing this? Can you sing this? I'm like, I can sing anything you guys want me to, but it's going to sound country, right? You want like a really country three down. I'll nail it, man.
Yeah. Bring it on.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's bringing Garth up and specifically Thunder Rolls. That was actually the song. So I'm, we talked about Brian being from New York. So I'm born and raised New Jersey, and we, I literally grew up down the street from Bon Jovi's parents. Like we were in Bon Jovi territory my entire life. Never knew what country was. Never knew, any of that until. Within the last, I mean, you see the boom around here. It's been the last like 10, 15 years that it's really taken off over here. But Thunder Rolls was the first song that I had a buddy that sat me down. He said, I know you like all your rock stuff, your punk stuff. He said, come listen to this song. I think it'll really you're going to gravitate towards this. Put it on and hit the ground running. Never look back. Yeah.
That was it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, I have this theory. I've done a ton of, different podcasts and radio interviews and whatnot. And, you always get the Groundhog Day questions. Well, how did you this and how, what type of music do you listen to and where did you get your start? And I think because, Philly, we're from out in the burbs. It's probably more country than it is city,
Mhm.
I always say I'm from this little town with rolling hills and shopping malls and car lots, the land called Levittown, Pennsylvania, for those of you that don't know. But we have this area that's just rich with, this history of music that comes out of Philly. And if you listen to my stuff, I think it's a little bit different, than what's going on out there. Maybe a little bit, more funky, type of country. I just like stuff that you can dance to, man. And like to get the crowd going. So there's my Philly accent coming out for you. We're going down the shore, boys. We're gonna go to Rita's Water Ice, then we're gonna go get a cheesesteak, and we're going down the shore.
Yeah. So speaking of your accent, I'm actually disappointed I didn't start this interview with the most important question.
What's that?
Geno's or Pat's?
Oh man, I'm a Jim Steak guy.
Okay.
On 3rd and South, man. But if I had to pick between Pat's and Geno's, I think I gotta go Geno's, man.
Yeah, I don't think I have an actual preference. I mean, I guess I don't really have a say, not being an actual Philly person, but
you're close enough, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I enjoy a good cheesesteak. I don't care what it is, as long as it's got the cheese whiz on it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, there's really no steak and there's no cheese, but it's the cheesesteak.
Right. So you're talking about, your music kind of, kind of developing your own sound here, especially in this area, like you said. So what, let's kind of jump into the songwriting side of it. So, what does that process look like for you? Drawing inspiration, kind of walk us through what songwriting is to you.
Yeah, man, I've been fortunate enough through Johnny Garcia to meet these amazing songwriters and to just be able to pick, like cream of the crop, just number one type stuff. And the new stuff we have out, we have this new song called "Keep on Loving on You." Um, it's like a lovey-dovey song, the label wanted a lovey-dovey. I didn't really have one of those. So I dig that song. I like to perform it. It's cool. But some of the other stuff we have coming out, there's Country Money that's coming out that was written by this guy, Mark Adams, who writes for Morgan. He wrote like 3 of his #1 hits, and I was fortunate enough to pick up this track from him. He also wrote a track for me called Shakedown. So they're both real, barn burner, shit kicker kind of songs, and that's what they're the kind of songs that really get me going on stage, man.
You know what? This brings me to another point. For the most part, what you hear a lot of in the Nashville world are like the singer-songwriter type stuff. Well, Nashville never even supposed to be that, right? You were supposed to have the best singers, the best songwriters, and they created the best thing, the best, product. And so, what I'm getting out of this is that, like you're the singer, you're the one that gets to bring these songs to life for people to hear and everything. And you're a really great singer at doing that and understanding that there's really good songwriters. So like, why do I need to hold the pen and write the songs if they're already there?
I leave it to the pros, man. They're down there in Nashville every day, sitting in those shitty little smoke-filled bars and just cranking these amazing songs out. And I just I will write from time to time. I'll co-write and sort of like an idea man. I'll come up with like the hook or this or that. We have another song coming out called "Boom in the Backwoods," and it's got like some real bassy kind of. It's just a party song. Another song that was written by this guy Mark and myself and Johnny Garcia. So that one's coming out. But most of the time, I just leave that up to those guys, man. I hear a song and it clicks, and I'm like, that one, that's a hit,
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it too, like some of the greats of country music aren't known for their songwriting, right? Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
I mean, Alan Jackson is a songwriter, but like, those guys alone, you wouldn't be like, oh man, they're not artists. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks, man.
Yeah, well, everybody, it's like, it's like everybody does their part. I mean, Garth's going to lend his voice to that particular track, and it changes everything. I mean, look at Friends in Low Places. I mean, it was put out by, I forget the artist's name. It really didn't do much. And then Garth got a hold of it, and, biggest selling song of all freaking time,
Yeah. What's cool about that? One of the things I was going to ask is, not being full-time in Nashville, right? You're like in today's social media world, in today's like, I don't want to call it like the fast-paced industry of writing a single, recording a single, releasing a single. Being not in Nashville full-time, that probably is more beneficial to you in that sense of the, like you said, everybody has a job. Their job is to write. Your job is to perform. Not having to be in those rooms and in those bars and putting 16 hours a day sitting on a couch with a guitar and a pencil and 5 other people. I'm sure that, and I mean, obviously you can tell us and tell me I'm wrong, but I feel like that's probably the benefit to not being there full time is you don't have to immerse yourself in that, and you could focus on the songs you want and the songs you want to release.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that, man. It's nice to be able to kind of, and I do spend a lot of time there, but it's nice to sort of drop in and out and kind of look from the outside in, so you don't get too tangled up in that, because there's so many talented people in that town. I mean, you can literally like throw a rock and hit somebody, and that guy or girl is going to sing better than the next one. There's a ton of 20-something, 30-something-year-old folks walking around, and like I said, they can sing their ass off. But there's only one Bowman.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's probably a
I
good
don't know if
trans.
that's a good thing or a bad thing. I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, the jury's still out on that one, but I
Right,
think
we'll see. We'll see.
I think Eastern PA likes that there's one Bowman walking around, but
Right.
um,
Yeah.
I think that's actually kind of a good transition then. So let's go ahead and introduce the song we'll play for you. We'll
Okay.
put it on for everybody listening, and then we'll really dive into it when we come back from it. So yeah, go ahead and introduce it for us, and we'll go from there.
This one was released right for Valentine's Day a few weeks ago. So it's doing well on Spotify, and appreciate everybody out there, downloading the thing, and hope you all dig it as much as I do.
Lately I've been thinking this could be our night. Close the curtains, pull me closer, pull the covers, baby, hold me tight. Your lips are speaking my language, baby, keep it up. I never, ever, ever wanna get enough. Darling, there ain't no rush. Baby, 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 you're driving me crazy. Your eyes could hypnotize the moon. The way your body's swaying, my heart could barely take it, baby. It's something I could get used to. Why don't you cancel your plans? Let your man keep a loving on you. Stop overthinking this. Show me what it is you miss when I'm not around. Life can get no better than this. Feel the fire from my fingertips. Skin on skin, now here we go again. Baby, 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 you're driving me crazy. Your eyes could hypnotize the moon. The way your body's swaying, my heart can barely take it, baby. It's something I could get used to. Why don't you cancel your plans? Let your man keep a loving on you. Keep on loving on you, baby. I wanna keep on loving on you, baby. I wanna keep on loving on you, baby. I wanna keep on loving on you.
All right, so let's talk about Keep On Loving on You. Like you said, it was just recently released Valentine's Day about 10, 12 days ago now.
Mhm.
What was the inspiration behind that? I know you mentioned the label wanting a lovey-dovey song, but kind of just putting it together. What was grabbing it
Yeah,
like for you? And yeah.
that was written by a fellow by the name of Charlie Allen and Randall Fowler, two amazing writers that I've worked with before. Charlie has written a bunch of songs for me over the years. Stupid Kind of Crazy Love, and a bunch of stuff we've had out in the past. And Charlie called me up one day and he said, "I got one for you, man. This one's a Bowman song. You got to listen to this." And I was actually up at my farm up in the Catskills on the backhoe, and I think I was ripping a tree down or some damn thing, and I could barely hear him, and I'm like, all right, Charlie, just send me the damn thing. I'll listen to it. All right, all right, all right. And he sent it to me, and when I pick a song, it speaks to me. I mean, literally within the first few notes and the first line, I know that song's for me. And this one was definitely one of those songs. So, and of course, all the gals at the social media team that kind of pick through everything, and they tell you which pictures to use, which ones that you look good, which ones you look fat, which ones whatever. I leave that to them. Just pick a good one, but they fell in love with the song. They're like, this is the one. You got to put this one out. So we did.
This is cool. I like this one. Being an audio engineer by trade, I always kind of go back to my days in the tracking room, and this is recorded and mixed so good. Like it is mixed. Like, I mean, as perfect could be in the mixing world. It's really good. But from the sound of it, like it has that cool, like, I don't know, like 90s country meets like with the brass and the jazzy kind of feel and showman kind of feel to it.
Mhm.
All of that blended together in a perfect little mix that I'm taking is that BOWMAN sound, right? And
we had an idea when I heard this song. I was like, it's missing something, and I said to Johnny Garcia, I said, I'm hearing horns in this thing, and he said, horns in a country song? What? I go, I'm telling you, man. He said, well, what kind of horns? I said, I'm thinking like 1980s Genesis, big horn, Phil Collins type horns, and they brought in a horn section for this thing, man, and they just knocked it out, and I think it makes the song.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let alone lyrics, but like the minute that the horns come in, that is the hook, right? That
Mhm.
oh, what is going on here, and it
Right.
grabs you. What's going on with my camera? Yeah. No, I really like this song a lot, dude.
Right on, man. Yeah, one for the ladies.
Yeah.
When I introduce it on stage, I say, a little baby making music for you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I comment on the lyrical side of it. I am a sucker for a good love song. So this hits home for me, and my girl and I, we have a Spotify playlist of like, oh, I heard this song, reminded me of you. The second I heard it, I added to it, and I was like, you have to listen to this. That this is going to be the song. Like,
Right on.
so she agrees with me. It definitely definitely fares well with the ladies for sure.
Right on. That's good to hear.
Yeah. So keep on loving on you. Kind of the first, second single here in the Deuces Wild rollout you have going on over the next couple of months here. It looks like so. Kind of tell us a little bit about what that Deuces Wild rollout's looking like, and what we could kind of expect going forward a little bit.
Yeah, you know what it was, man. We had just like a bunch of great songs in the can that it was different. Typically, it was like you release one every 3 months and you kind of work that, and but the idea behind this was we just got to get these songs out. Let's kind of like do an A side, B side kind of thing, and then they came up with this Deuces Wild series thing. So it seems to be working because people will download the damn things. So I appreciate that. But yeah, that's sort of like how that came about, was just kind of rapid fire, get these songs out. Like every month we're releasing one, and we've got some gigs coming up this summer, and I'm sure most of these songs will make it into the playlist, depending on how much time they give me on stage before they kick me the hell off. We'll squeeze in as many as we can.
Yeah, I mean, that's like that new technique, right, that we hear a lot about, the waterfalling effect, and especially keying it up right before the summertime, like summer tours and stuff start happening. So yeah, it's smart. I mean, it really is smart.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just kind of show up where they tell me to, and get up there and jump around and try to be as entertaining as I possibly can.
Yeah, when you're touring around this area, are you playing with a full band and stuff? Of players?
Full band, yeah, man. We got a great band. Like I said, we got Johnny and Johnny Garcia and Anthony Kryzan. Everybody in my band, has played or currently does play for somebody that's, I mean, at one point, I think I had half of Garth's band. His fiddle player, his drummer, just kind of happened that way for a little bit there. So I feel fortunate. I had a couple of his backup singers. Like, it was amazing. So these people are just so damn good at what they do that it just makes my job so much easier. When you've got, backup singers like Garth's, Vicky is amazing. She's been with him for years. You just feel like you're driving a brand new Tesla on autopilot. Like, you just, nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
That's sort of the way it feels for me. But yeah, man, for me, it's just about having a bunch of fun. I try not to take it too seriously. And, I've just been very fortunate. It's like stepping stones. So yeah, man.
Yeah, so a topic that I don't think we've ever really covered on here yet, but the band, the idea of having a backing band, like I said, I come from the punk world, so your band was your band, like it was the four of you, and that's it, right? Like
You guys, yeah.
It's an interesting concept that you kind of have this, in an ideal perfect world, you have the same players consistently and all that, but sometimes it is a little bit of a carousel, and it depends on who's available and things like that. But the fact that, like, when you have these professionals, it must feel good to know you're taken care of, to know that you can trust the people behind you, even if it's the first or the 100th time they're playing with you. That's got to be a cool, a cool thing to be able to experience with players of that caliber.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have a funny story to that point. Where the heck, we were playing a pretty big show. I think it was in Myrtle Beach. It was the CCMF. We were opening up for, I think it was Jason Aldean or one of those guys. We were the guy before the guy. And, they got the Jumbotrons there. And I turned around and, I was watching Johnny during a guitar solo. And as many times as I played with him, I'm just watching him in front of all these thousands of people, like, just take this guitar apart, and I realized, I look up at the Jumbotron, I was like, oh shit, I got to get back to singing. Like, I almost missed my spot.
I'd imagine that could happen quite often, and that would be me 100%. I have the attention span of a gnat to begin with, so you put something that's shiny object, ooh, it's sparkly, like I am fully on board on missing every cue I ever have.
Right.
Yeah. So kind of sticking with the live theme, we always kind of like to ask, kind of how that live show looks like. You dug into, being energetic and, just kind of, letting it flow and have fun. And I believe I saw, I don't know, I confused myself in looking. I don't know if it was last year or this upcoming year, but are you doing the Barefoot Country Fest in Wildwood this year, or was that last year?
I believe we are. I believe we're doing, so that same promoter does the one down in Carolina.
Yeah.
TCMF, Carolina Country Music Festival. And I think that's, I get them mixed up, but I think that one's Kid Rock and Jelly Roll, and, there's a ton of others, but they're like, the big guys. And then I think the one in Wildwood, New Jersey, the BCMF, I think that's, who the heck's on that? I think Jelly Roll's on that one too, and I think Lainey Wilson. And then there's a bunch of folks on there, but I'm pretty sure we're going to do both of those because they're kind of back to back, and it's a whole weekend, and it's a lot of fun. You get to, play the big giant stage, and then they kind of got like the medium stage, and then they have like the smaller stage. And I actually like the smaller stages. I just feel it's more intimate. You know, it's fun to do those big giant stages and get out there in front of a bunch of people. But to me, there's nothing like connecting with the crowd and being able to look folks right in the eye and, have a smaller 500 people or whatever, you know.
Yeah, what's cool about that too, they're paying to be there, right? So yeah, a Jason Aldean headliner, Jelly Roll headliner, yeah, sure, but they're paying to be there all day, right? They're there to experience the environment and the whole thing. So having that smaller, intimate setting in such a large capacity, it's got to be cool on both ends, right? Like we said, like Brian said before, we started this because that's the scene we like too. So from the other side, from the sand looking up as well as coming back. I brought up barefoot in particular just on the idea of playing, kind of what your experience is going from something like that, like a festival scene, a weekend thing, compared to, maybe playing locally in a bar or a venue nearby, opening for some other acts. And so yeah, kind of like, what's that experience been like for you between going from like just a festival experience compared to just a normal, I don't want to say normal, but you know what I mean, just a tour show?
Yeah, man. I did my rounds in all the, small bars, mostly in Nashville. Really haven't played here in the Northeast very much. Hasn't been a call for it. So I don't really get a chance to do too many of those anymore, if at all. Mostly everything now is, geared up for these festivals, during the summer months. And then, picking the song that you think you want to do a video for, and maybe doing that in the off months. And so yeah, man. I mean, once you do the larger stuff, it's kind of harder to go back in a way. You get a little bit spoiled, when you have that many eyeballs on you and that much energy. You know, I mean, I always say I'll play the opening of an envelope. I don't give a shit. I mean, I love karaoke. I've done radio interviews where they're like, "Where did you get your start?" I'm like, "Karaoke," and they're like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Really?" So I still love doing that kind of stuff, but it is definitely a very different experience.
Yeah. No, man, that's awesome. And Bowman, we really truly appreciate you coming on. You want to let the listeners know where they can find you, follow you, all that stuff?
Yeah, man. BOWMANcountry.com. You can find any of my music where, fine music is sold, the Spotify's and the Apple Music. And, you always say, you look hard enough, you'll find me. YouTube, there's a bunch of videos out there, old and new. We had a song out last year that we re-released called Dust and Bone. And we shot a video for it out in Nevada in the desert. And we actually had Cirque du Soleil was in this video. And they wound up playing it on CMT and all that good stuff. But it was just a really fun video to make. You should check it out. We actually built a guitar. Johnny Garcia was in this video, and we built a guitar that shot fire out of the neck of the guitar like 30 feet into the air. So he just about took my eyebrows off with the damn thing. But fun nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bowman, man, we appreciate you taking time and chatting with us.
Yeah.
If I could speak for everybody listening, this Deuce Wild series you got coming down the line here, we're looking forward to hearing the next batch of songs and keep seeing it roll on for you.
Appreciate you guys having me.
All right, so that was our interview with Bowman, and yeah, it was a good talk, good conversation. I felt like and I don't mean this in any way towards anybody else, but we didn't really have that cookie cutter experience with him, and I think that was refreshing for us to be able to kind of talk about different topics in the industry, but also highlight the fact that there's not one real way to do something in music and something so large of an industry, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is great. He was super fun to listen to, and we didn't know it until we got on chatting with him here that he's like basically in both of ours backyard, right across the river from Jersey here, and so that was really fun. A local person to us, and yeah, I mean, just like it was really cool to have that talk about singers and songwriters and different roles and the musicians and producers. Everybody's got to adds to the puzzle, and the end goal is to have the best song you could possibly make, and everybody does it.
Yeah. The idea of like you said, we're having the role and yeah, I feel like, we could kind of dive into the rabbit hole all the time, but we could avoid that today. But, sometimes it's oversaturated. Sometimes it's, trying to do too much. And I like that he understands that concept of he does his thing and he's got the team around him to put out the best product and yeah, no, I like that a lot. And this Deuces Wild series he's got going on, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's running through May. Like you said, a single a month for at least the next like 4 or 5 months. So definitely keep an eye out on that. And yeah, it was good chatting, and hopefully we run into him around town.
No, I agree, man. I'm really looking forward to the rest of this. The rollout that they're doing. We definitely want to thank Bowman for coming on Outside the Circle. Make sure you go follow him on all of his social media, music listening platforms. Check out his website. We leave you today with another track from Bowman, Country Money.
Fives buzzing down a back road, Alpine green rolling out the window, shine it up just to drop it in a mud hole. Yeah, that's where all my paper goes, yeah. Bird dog in the bed got a bloodline, back glass got a blue barrel A5. Bought them both with my burned out overtime. I ain't trying too hard to hide that. Country money, blue dollar red dirt cake. Bird gets that bang. You gotta get paid, turning grain into greenback every day, cause a baby she need that country money. Jacked up lean back, that's that country money. Daytona race week, Winnebago, hairpin lashes by the pontoon boat, real tree beauty queen dripping rhinestones. Baby gets what baby wants, yeah. Country money, blue collar red dirt cake. Country money, early bird gets that bang. Gotta get paid, turning grain into greenback every day, cause a baby she needs that country money. Jacked up, laid back, that's that country money. Living large, playing hard on hard-earned dough. Keep our cash in a can, call it Folgers Gold. Yeah. Country money, blue dollar red dirt cake. Country money, early bird gets that thing. You gotta get paid, turning grain into greenback every day, cause a baby she needs that country money. Jacked up, lean back, that's that country money. Said that's that